Hi.
Hey, Jérôme.
Hi,
How are
Bini.
you?
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm in Corsica, you know, the island near from France,
Oh, nice.
because my wife comes from this island, and we are in the family of my wife. We arrived by boat this morning,
That's
but there is a
phenomenal.
storm today.
Well, you know what? Who cares? You're in an island. It goes away. The storms in the island fly by pretty quickly. That's
Yeah,
that's
so
really nice.
we have problem with electricity now, but
Oh
it's okay.
no. Oh no. How long are you going to stay there?
Sorry.
How long are you going to stay there?
Just a few days, 8 days, because now maybe you know it, but the club changed the trainer, so now I'm not working for the club in Aix-en-Provence,
Yeah.
and we are changing of house.
So you're moving from X. You're
No, I don't move from Hex. We found a new house
okay.
to buy because we were renting, and at the end of June we
Okay.
have to move.
Well, now you're going to own a house.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna live in X because our son is very happy in
Yeah.
this city, and he has a lot of friends, and now he's 13 years old,
Yeah.
so it's difficult to move now. uh, I will try to find maybe a country to train,
Well, I
to
mean,
be
that's
a
that's
national trainer.
yeah, that's one a part of the conversation I want to have with you
Okay.
for Straight Handball Talk. I mean, first of all, thanks for taking your time and joining me in
Hmm.
Straight Handball Talk. Not sure if you know much about it. I just started something recently during the COVID crisis because we were all stuck
Yeah.
at home. So I had time to think about handball, and I had time to think about the amazing thing that handball has done for me and for a connection that I've had throughout my whole life. Jérôme, I lost your video. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's okay.
So basically, Straight Handball Talk brings conversation between people who either were teammates, competitors, friends, or just passionate handball lovers that were connected through the sport of handball. And for us in United States, it's truly a passion because it's not a profession. We do it because we love the sport. We do it because we get these connections that I consider them priceless. One of them is a connection with you. You are on a different situation because I have to explain to people, not that the people don't know, but what you've done with your career is just absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. You played in 4 Olympic Games, won 2 gold medals. You played in 6 World Championships. You won 4 gold medals. You played in 4 Euro Championships, won 3 gold medals. And at the club level, you played for all the best teams in Europe. You won 2-time Champions League. I don't know how many times you won league titles, but this is a career that everyone can envy. But this is, you are the person that could explain to us here in US and to everyone in the world, how, one, did you start? 2, how did you maintain to be healthy? 3, stay humble and constantly be passionate and dedicated to the sport. I know there are too many questions, but I need everyone to know, how can someone get in your shoes and dream about getting what you've done? Nope, it's hard to do that, but still, you have a
Yeah.
base, you have a foundation, and you have the knowledge to share this with people. So first question is, how did you get started with handball?
So I I I was very lucky to live in a family who loves handball,
Hmm.
and so I started to play when I just started to walk. You you hear the storm?
Yes. Hey, just don't
Sorry,
don't
just when we start. But you hear me good?
Yeah, yes, I hear you well. Yes.
Okay. So my parents played handball,
Hmm.
and I had a few difference of age with them. So my father, for example, was playing when I was very young, and he was only 30 years old.
Mm.
And I was 6 or 7 years old. So I saw many games of him. My mother also was playing in the second division in France. They were amateur both, but they played at the good level. And I was all the weekend in the different series of handball near from Bordeaux, where I am born. And I played all my life handball, and I tried another sports like tennis, like football,
Yeah.
like rugby, basketball, but I didn't like these sports like handball. And handball was uh, truly part of my life. Each week was programmed with trainings of my mother, my father, my trainings, the trainings of my little brothers who played also. So all the friends of my parents were playing handball, or were at the direction of the club, and we were always with people of handball.
Yeah.
And when I was 15 years old, uh, I could come in a sports school in
Yeah.
France when I started to train very hard. So, for example, before 15 years old, I was training 2 times a week
Mm-hmm.
with my club, and I was playing the Wednesday afternoon with the school.
Okay.
But when I came in the lycée with a sports school, I start to train 7 or 8 times a week.
Mm.
So I grew up very quick,
Yeah.
very fast, and at the end of the first year of this sports school, I could go to the professional club of Bordeaux,
Oh, that's
who
quick.
was playing in first division. So I started to train with this team. I played with the second team,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 years after, I started to play my first games with a professional team, and in the first division in France. I played my first game in first division in Marseille against OM Vitrolles, who was a very big team in the 90s in France. There were lots of great players of
Rough
French.
team. Rough team.
Yeah. So Jackson Richardson was playing in Marseille. Philippe Gardon, some players of the French national team, and 2 years after, I went to Toulouse. I changed the club, and I signed my first professional contract. And 2 months after, I was training with a national team with 20 years old.
Mm.
And I was training with Jackson Richardson, with all these players who were world champion in 95.
95, yeah.
And it was just a dream for me, because I was always considering me like the young player I was before, when I came to see my parents, and all this. It's very emotionally, it's very hard to speak about it, because I think that I had a big chance to play at the professional level, but I I kept my spirit, my amateur spirit of my parents and of my old club,
Yeah.
all my career, all my professional career. So uh,
Hmm.
for me, it's natural to play handball, to think about handball, and to speak with people who loves handball.
See, I think that sums it all up, in a way that you never love the sport more than when you're an amateur, when you are just learning and you're hungry to learn constantly. Forget about the
Yeah,
professional aspect of it where you get paid and you luckily made it in handball and you achieve success. But if you go every day, like it's fun and you're doing it as a hobby
yeah,
and you're playing with your
like
friends.
fun, like passion.
Yes. Yeah. And I
Yes.
think that's the most amazing thing. Even though I have to say you obviously had a secret advantage now that I know your parents. I mean, they must be very proud that them being amateurs, instilling these values on you and you making it to what you have done with your career. I'm sure they're the proudest handball parents in the planet. That's must be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents were very proud of me because unfortunately they're not here today. But when I was playing and they were here, they were very proud. But they were very proud all the time.
Yeah.
When I started to train with a professional club of Bordeaux with 16 years old, when I started to play with a young national team of France, when I started to play at the professional level, when I started to play with a big national team of France, and when I started to win with France, uh, when we started to win in 2001 in
Yeah.
France, my first title of
Yeah.
world champion. They were here, and they were here till London,
Yeah. So
and
2012.
they saw so many titles, so many games of me, and they tried to be almost always here
Yeah.
when I was playing, but it was very difficult because we move a lot
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
play, and I played in lots of countries, different tournaments, different competitions.
Yeah.
Uh, but when I was playing in club also, when I went to Toulouse, Montpellier, or Barcelona,
Yeah.
they went to see me
Yeah.
to play sometimes, and each time they were very proud to
Yeah.
say that they were my parents and
Yeah.
that they could speak with important people of this sport
Yeah.
because I was very lucky to be trained
Yeah.
by big coaches,
Yeah.
and they were always very happy to speak
Yeah.
with my coaches, to speak about me, to speak about my level, what I could to do after, and I think that's all my career. I tried to to progress, to grow up all the time, to reach my limits,
Yeah.
to be
Well,
the best player I could.
yeah, and which you did. And I think ultimately, um, whether it's parents or whether it's a coach or whether anyone is around getting people to play handball, if they instill that value, the culture of handball, and like you said, being happy for every little progress, whether win or lose, wherever you go, if someone has that support for you and supports you all the time, there's no better feeling because that's what handball is all about. I mean, that trust, that teamwork, that responsibility, that shared values that we have. I don't think there's any sport in the planet that gets as close to handball as we do. That we depend on trusting each other at all times. So having the parents who do that, it's critical. So uh, to move to move to one thing that always I was curious, and the way I remember you playing a lot of times is playing on the right back.
Yeah,
And and of course, someone with your skills, someone with your knowledge, intelligence, and of course, leadership. I always wondered, like, why are you in the right back? And again, it's you've been so effective that you own the position of the right back with your right hand. But I always wonder, like, why are you there? How did you get to be in that position and own that position for so long?
It's a long story because when I played like a young player, I was almost always playing in the left back position.
Okay.
But my uh, when I was young and I start to you know when you're
To grow.
yeah, when you grow, yes. So I started to grow later than the others. So sometimes when I was in the departmental team or regional team, I was not playing left back. I was playing central back or left wing. So I started to play in different positions. And when I went to Bordeaux to play with a professional team,
Yeah.
I had a Bosnian coach, Boro Golic,
Okay.
who played in the 70s in Banja Luka. He won the Champions League.
Of course.
And Boro saw that I was playing all the time with the same course, with the same jump, and he wanted to change that,
Okay.
to complete my my game,
Okay.
my kind of game, and he started to put me in the right back position to make me go to the left side. Because when I was in the left back position, I didn't play for my wing, and I didn't see him, and I was playing always to shoot and score, or to play with the pivot or at the right side. So he said me, now you will play in the right back position, and you can play for the right back, for the right wing, because you see him. But you need to play to the left side, because if you don't do that, you cannot play with all the team. And so he put me in this position, and he make me progress and complete my kind of game and my possibilities, my skills like players.
So
and like I played maybe 2 years in this position, in the trainings and sometimes in the games also with Bordeaux. When I changed and when I started to play with the national team, we arrived at a moment that Claude Onesta, the national head coach, wanted to play with Karabatic, Narcis, and me in the back positions. But we were the three guys. We were playing in the left back position in club, and so he needed to find the good mix, you know. And at the end, he moved our positions, and he found that the best solution was when Nicola was playing in the center, central back, Daniel in the left back, and me in the right back position. And in this time, the right back, who was a left-hand player, was not so good as me. So we started to play like this, and we started to win games. And in 2006, we won the European Championship and I was playing in this position.
Yeah.
So during a few years, I played in the right back position, but I was ready to play in this position because I learned before. And I think now, like trainer, like coach, for me, it's very important to practice with all the players changing the positions, because they had to think about the other guys, and when they are in the other position, they can feel what a teammate is feeling when they are near and they don't pass the ball. You know, they are not playing with him. So it's very important for me to make move some players to understand what they have to do in the court when they are left back, left wing, central back, pivot. The only position I didn't play, it's goalkeeper. In my life. It's so complicated. For me, it's not handball position.
It's
different
a
sport.
specific one. Well, that's, you know what, that's a really good story, and I think it's good for people to know, and I think it's so critical to be able to understand all positions if you want to become an all-around leader of the team, because that certainly helps in every respect. But for me, I was always thinking, like, he could play anywhere he wants to, right, in the backcourt, because every time you...
it was very important for me to play wherever I want, because I could help the team to win.
Exactly. It was always like...
That was my important goal.
And it worked perfectly well. And that's good. Now I know the reason and the explanation, and I know a lot of people will be happy to know this as well. Another thing that I remember very well, and I watched this game as much probably as so many people have watched it, is in 2009 in Zagreb, Croatia. I think that was the first time you took the captain band for the French national team, and you went to the finals in front of whatever, 20,000 or 15,000 people in Zagreb. For people who don't know this, and they're not handball fans, you have no idea how difficult it is to play against Croatia in their home turf in the capital of Croatia with the kind of players they've had at that time. But you guys went there, and I remember the match very, very well. I remember it for three reasons. One of them, it's Karabatic Balic doing the cowboy thing face to face. I remember Vori pretending to throw the ball in the face of the referee, getting a red card at the end. And also, I remember you scoring the dagger goal when you guys ran up by 3, 2 minutes to go. It was crazy though, but none of that happened until the last 20 minutes of the game. You guys were losing. So I really want to know, you as a captain, Onyesta as a coach, how did you manage the feelings of staying calm in the middle of Zagreb and winning?
It was a strange atmosphere, because we played against our big enemy, the only team I think who could win us. And we were playing in Zagreb, in their country, in their new arena. And so many people in Croatia was waiting for this moment to watch, to see his team win against France. And I felt that all the people of handball wanted to see a final with Croatia and France in this arena. And the feeling in this game was incredible, because we reached the final knowing and thinking just only about this final against Croatia. we were ready and we were sure to reach the final and to play Croatia in the final. So we were ready to play the game of maybe our life.
Yeah.
And when we went in this arena with 15,000 people of Croatia, with all these shirts of Croatia,
checkers,
all this, for the water polo.
Yeah.
They put this in the head, and it was incredible because we could feel that the people of Croatia want to see us to lose, but they had a great respect for our team, and they knew that we could win. So during the game, they were shouting, they were greeting for the team of Croatia to help the team of Croatia to win against us. But at the end of the game, we could take 2, 3, 4 goals more, and we saw that the Croatian players were so tired, so disappointed about the score, about the atmosphere, because they were feeling that all the people around were knowing that we will win, and they stopped to play. They stopped to play at 2 minutes before the end of the game, and I was thinking, it's not normal because when you're playing a final, you play till the end,
the last second.
Maybe you have 4 goals of difference, and there is only 2 minutes, and it's very, very difficult, maybe impossible, to reach the score and to go to the when you play after the game.
Overtime.
Yeah. And they stopped to play, and they didn't want to end the game. So they were like this, without moving, just dribbling, or I think that some guys was crying, or was stopped here in the courts. And I remember Igor Vori, who
the ball,
who threw the ball against the referee.
He faked it.
And I was thinking, they are getting crazy. They are getting crazy. You can lose, but you cannot lose your mind and stop to play like this, and give this
the feeling,
kind of image of your team and of you. And for me, it was a special day, because the day before, my mother called me by phone, and she told me that my father was in the hospital, and that some days after he would die, because he had a cancer. So when I went in the courts for the final, I was just thinking about win this game, take the gold medal, and go back to France to see for the last time my father, and to give him this medal. And I was very tired, because we played a lot of games during 2 weeks, but I just was thinking about winning this game, this championship, and to go back to France to see my father. And I didn't want to have a party with my teammates. I didn't want to celebrate this title. And maybe if you remember, at the end of the game, when we won, I didn't come with my teammates.
Oh.
I just fell down in the court, and I was crying because the game was ended, and from this moment, I could think about my father and go back to France. And lots of my teammates came to me and say to me, "But what are you doing?" But they didn't know the situation.
They didn't know.
And after the game, when we went to the hotel, I explained to my teammates and to all the team the situation, and that I wanted to go back to France to see my father. And they were shocked because they said to me, "But how could you play this game knowing that your father is dying now?" And I said, "You know, my father has cancer since 5 years, so I knew that this day would come. But for me, it was very important that he could be proud of me a last time before coming back." So it was a big moment of my career because it was the first tournament for me like captain, and we won my first title like captain. But the emotion to know the situation of my father do that this title is very different for me.
I mean, obviously I didn't know this, and I knew this was an important victory for you, but obviously this is above and beyond sports. I think being able to do this for your father, even though you were not there in that moment, is something to be proud of forever, because I'm sure your dad would have wanted you to do exactly what you did. And I think it's definitely an emotional story. And thank you for sharing, Jérôme. I really, really appreciate it. I think
it was difficult before to speak about that without crying.
Yeah.
But now I think that the time did his job, and I can explain this not without emotion, but without losing my mind.
Well, I'm getting goosebumps, but so you know, my relationship with you obviously started that when you came to New York City, and you and Stephanie reached out to me, and you said, "Oh, we're in New York and love to say hi." And I said, I was so happy. I was like, "Oh my God, yes, I'm so happy that you reached out." And then we went out a little bit. We went for lunch, and I had a phenomenal time with your family. I also remember very well the exchange of shirts we did, and you gave me your practice shirt of France that you practiced in one of the big championships, and you wrote something nice in the back of my shirt. So I'm not the kind of guy that can take the shirt and leave it on the wall forever, right? And I was like, I did it for 2 weeks, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna put it there, but then every day I would go to practice or play any sports, I'm like, I need to wear this one, I have to wear this one, and I have to wear this one. So, and I wore it, right? I went to practice, it felt so, because it was such a nice shirt, like it just felt good. It was so simple, and just said friends and your writing. So I go, I play, everyone was asking, and I was like, oh yeah, Jérôme gave it to me, look what he wrote. So, and I come back home and I put it to wash. I forgot, instead of washing by hand. And the thing washed off. I went crazy. I was like, what an idiot. Like, I knew something like this is going to happen, because I was planning to wash it by hand and protect that part. but I was really, really crazy. Anyway, so that's our relationship that started in New York City. And I'm going to ask you, how did you like our city, New York City, and what did you like the most about New York City?
Uh, it was a great moment for me because we don't have any competitions in United States, and it was one of the countries I didn't know, and I didn't go. So for me, like a fan of sport, United States, it's the perfect country for the sport, and I have a lot of moments of Olympic Games with Carl Lewis, Michael Johnson's, um, uh, with the basketball team of United States. I was watching NBA games when I was young, and for me, United States is a, a, um, a different country for the sport. We have in Europe some countries who love sport, like Balkanic countries, like Russia, France also, but maybe less. Spain, Italy, Great Britain, they love some sports, their sports, but for me, the best country of sport is United States, and it's for me the reference. And I always wanted to go to United States to see, to visit the cities, but to see also how the people is living sports when they are watching a game, when they are in the pubs, taking a beer with friends, you know, how they live a moment of sport. And for me, from Europe, New York City is the big city of United States. I love Los Angeles. I want to go to San Francisco. I want to see Washington. I want to go to visit Miami, for example. But for me, New York City is special. And for my wife also, because she was playing basketball when she was young. And she wanted to go to New York and to see the city, to see how is living the people in this city, you know. And when I knew that there was handball in New York, and that we could speak about handball, but normally, you know, like fan of this sport, you and me. I said to my wife, we have to share one moment with this guy who is working in New York to do that. My sport, our sport, was considered by the people of United States like a good sport. You know, it's. I think that when you have the chance to play handball in Europe and to know how the people love this game, you want that all the world loves this sport, and to share moment with the TV, with friends, to see competitions in the TV or in the arenas when we play in the countries. And I said to my wife, I want to know this guy because he's like me. He loves handball, and he practiced handball. He plays handball with his friends, and he just want to play handball and to uh, do that another people who don't know this sport like this sport. And for me, when we went to New York, I wanted to see the city,
Yeah.
but it was 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2004.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I was playing,
Yeah.
and I was still playing, and I was thinking all days about handball, and I said, hey, I want to see one people who knows the handball in New York. It's very important for me. And now we spent 1 week, but it was incredible. This city is fantastic. We went to the um, oh, to see WNBA
Oh yeah,
game.
WNBA. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and the atmosphere was incredible, but there was only 3,000 people,
Yeah.
you know. But it was like it was full
Yeah.
for the atmosphere, for the music, for the organization of the game, and it was fantastic to see one game of sports in the city. And now I know that I want to go back to United States to see another time New York,
Yeah.
but to go also to Los Angeles, to San Francisco, Miami. Uh, I hope that in 2028 I could go to Los Angeles for the Olympic Games, and maybe stay 1 month to
Yep.
travel all the country.
That's
It could be nice.
that is a great idea, actually. That is a phenomenal idea. And by the way, in each of the cities you mentioned, LA, San Francisco, Miami, Washington, there are handball clubs and there are people that we're going to connect you with. So you can spend time and they can spend time with you because I think it's important for all of them as well. Would be wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah,
But it was, to me, it was surreal having you in New York City. Obviously, I was like, wow, and of course, you come in, you've traveled so much, you never know what people initially feel about New York City, right? I love New York City. I just feel like I was born here, but I was not. I just feel I belong here. Uh, but I'm happy that you say that you love the energy and you love the whole aspect of what this city does with the sports, which is like they elevate the entertainment of the sport to a level that in Europe we cannot see that unless it's a Cologne's Final Four or the finals of a one event. But here, every single game, whether it's the last team or the two last teams, it's always entertainment to the maximum, which
yeah, yeah.
which is a lot of fun to see. But when it comes to developing handball in US, we're still so far away from Europe, and I think so many of us have tried or trying to bring this level of excitement that handball is in American. Americans will love the sport very much so because it is exciting, it's fast, it's physical, it's smart,
Yeah.
a lot of goals. I mean, what would you do if you could do something in US? What would be your way of elevating the sport to a place where people in Europe will talk even more and say like, you know what, I want to go play for New York City handball club. What can we do?
Mm, it's difficult to speak about that, but maybe try to bring some players from Europe and go in different universities, different places, different cities uh, to visit some athletes who wants to who want to practice
Mm-hmm.
to try this sport, and maybe it could be interesting to organize some campus, of
Yeah,
handball
yeah, yeah,
in all the country, and see how many people want to come in this campus to practice, to discover the sports,
yeah,
and to try normally to play handball.
yeah,
And I think that like this, with time,
yeah, of course.
of course, um, we we could do something for the American people to know more
Yeah,
this game, and maybe to start to like it.
yeah. Well, every single American that watches a sport, they love it. I mean, they
Mhm.
just see it. It's like, whoa. Like, I mean,
But it's the same in Europe, because uh, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there was a lot of people, for example, in France, who didn't know handball.
yeah,
They saw some games of Barjo before,
yeah,
when we won the title in 2001. But handball was starting to win in France, so it was not so famous.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I try to bring so many people to come to see some games, you know.
yeah,
And each person who came in an arena or a place where I play, and they saw
yeah,
one game,
yeah,
at the end of the game, they say, wow, it's incredible.
yeah,
It's always moving. There is lots of goals. The people is very strong, but they also they move fast.
yeah,
They jump a lot. So it's complete sport. You need to be physically ready to do all, if it's
yeah,
possible, but you must be smart,
yeah, 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 yeah.
because you don't have to fight with the other team. They have to fight you with you, and you have to try to put the goal without receiving
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah,
So lots of people who likes rugby, for example, in France,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they say, it's like rugby, but it's smart,
Yes, yeah,
because rugby is very, you have to go against the other team, and to try to make some noise, or some injuries,
yeah,
uh, to put one try,
yeah.
you know. But handball is not like this.
No,
In handball, if you want to win, you must score 30 goals.
yeah,
So you have to be smart, and you have to play like a team.
yeah,
And it's very interesting for the people who like fighting spirit, but also strategy.
yeah, yeah. Well,
It's a good mix.
it really is, and I think us in US, like as long as we can get more people aware of it, liking it, and start watching more on TV, I think that could help us in the cities that we run programs to get more good athletes or people who fit the handball culture. Because ultimately, like you said, you don't necessarily have to be like a 6'5" American football player style to be a good handball player. You can have physical attributes, but it is a game where you have to be smart. You have to work with a team, the timing, the movement, all that comes with years of development. It's not just, oh, I'm strong and I can destroy you. It doesn't work with smart players ever, I think. Wait,
Mhm.
but now talking about the high quality handball. Last year we went to Montpellier. We have a partnership with Montpellier to train for Super Globe, and I called you. I said, "Hey, we're coming. For us, was a dream. I wanted to reach out to you." And then you said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me arrange a match between Pauk and us." And I was super excited. I said, "Yes," but unfortunately, at that same time, Montpellier arranged a match for us with their youth team in a big arena
Mhm.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do it. But then you told me that you have a friendly game with PSG in Aix-en-Provence, and then we could come. So you arranged for us to get the tickets, and I came with all the guys, and I have to say they will never forget it. They loved the whole atmosphere of being there with our shirts, of course, and then going to the VIP event afterwards. I mean, I just want to say again, thank you that you made another dream come true for me and for my guys to be a part of that event. You lost because PSG was unstoppable, but I could see like you were learning, you were kind of studying, and you were placing pieces. Like, okay, what do we do now? How do we arrange this? Like that was at that time. Was that your second year with Pauk as a coach? Last year, or it was
Sorry?
last year? Was it the first year or second year as a coach?
Second.
Second year. So,
Yeah.
what were your aspirations at that time with your team?
What? Sorry, I didn't understand.
At that time when we were watching you play PSG,
Yeah.
obviously you had plans to win second or third or fourth place. But what were the challenges at that time that you were coaching Pauk?
The challenge was to reach a European position in the championship. So we needed to be in the first positions.
Okay.
In the 5 first positions, and last year we reached the 6th place. But the EHF invite us to play European Cup this year also.
Okay.
So we played 2 years the European Cup, and it was the first time for the club. So it was for me a big achievement with this club, because when I went to Aix in 2015, they were fighting to stay in the first division. And my first year in Aix, like player, we ended at the 12th position, just before the 2 teams
relegation.
So for me, the goal, like coach, was to grow up like a team, but to do that, all my players could grow up also like player, to stay in the club or to go to another club to have maybe a better position in the championship, or a better contract with another club. And for example, one of the guys went to Nantes, and now he's playing since this year in Nantes, and they ended the championship at the second position, just before Nîmes and Montpellier, and he is playing very well, and is maybe he could play with the national team next year. So he's very happy to be in Nantes now, and I'm very happy for him that he could grow up with the club, with me, and now could play in Nantes in a bigger team, bigger club of the French Championship, and to play the Champions League, because next year they will play the Champions League with Nantes, like PSG.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. I mean, I thought, I mean, first of all, it seemed like the team that you had a lot of young guys in Pauk. And the young, what's his name? The French national team player, the young one, like quick, very skinny. He was like, he just won, I think, the youth world championship with France. Like
Min, Emmerich Min.
Was it that? Is that him? Like very skinny young, and he just was unbelievable.
Yeah. The central back of my team.
Yeah.
Emmerich Min.
Yeah.
I was speaking about this guy.
Okay. So that's him. I mean, I because I looked at him, I was like, this guy it's just unbelievable the way he moves.
Yeah.
And he is
Yeah.
fearless. He's just not afraid of anything or anyone at all. Yeah. What?
I think this guy has all a player need to play in the best level. The only thing is that maybe it's missing some centimeters, you know, because I played central back with 2 meters, and it was easier for me to play for my team and to score some goals.
Yeah.
But he's not so tall, and he has another skills. Is fast, quick, fast player, and is very smart. Is able to play for all the team, and is able to score lots of goals.
Yeah.
But for the defense, it's difficult to use him, you know, because he can play just in the position when you play 5-1, you know.
Yeah.
So he can play in this position to try to help the team to keep the ball, or maybe for the fast break to score quickly. But you cannot use him like second or third in defense, like you can do with Karabatic brothers or people like this, you know. I think it's a player like Narcisse, you know, maybe.
Well, that's a good compliment.
Yeah. And I think he will have a big career because he's only 23 years old now, and he has a lot of time and is very professional. He doesn't drink alcohol. He doesn't move by the discotheque. He doesn't like this. He just wants to play handball. So I think he will play a long time.
Yeah.
And is very ambitious. So I think he will have a big career.
Good. So you're not with PAOK anymore. Obviously, I must speculate because it's fun to speculate. But I could see you as a head coach of French national team, and I know they're looking for one. So, what are the chances of that happening anytime soon?
I hope that it could happen one day.
Okay.
But now the federation just changed the national head coach, and he has contract till the Olympic Games of Tokyo. So
wait, who is the head coach now?
Guillaume Gilles.
Oh, Guillaume Gilles. They got Guillaume
Yeah.
Gilles. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
he was the second with Didier Dinard.
Ah, okay.
And after the European Championship in January, the federation changed. Yeah. So Guillaume now is the first head coach.
Ah, okay.
And he has contract till Tokyo Olympic Games. And if the results of the team are good, he will keep the team till till Paris 2024. But for me, the most important is that the team of France could another time win some titles.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's with Guillaume or with me. I just want that they win. And I have time to be maybe one day national head coach. And I want to do this. But I have time because you can be coach till 70 years old. So it's not a problem.
Yeah, you don't have to play.
If I could not be national head coach of France, I would like to practice or to work with a country who wants to help handball in this country to grow up and to reach maybe a podium or title. Yeah. And it's very important for me. I want a good project.
Sure.
I don't want to be the best coach of the planet, you know.
Yeah.
I just want a big project, a good project, ambitious, to help a country to reach the goals, the objectives of the federation.
And
but for example, I think that for the Olympic Games of Los Angeles, United States must work now to prepare a team during 7 or 8 years to do a big tournament in Los Angeles in 8 years. And for example, it's this kind of project, of this kind of goal that I want to have, to live.
I think that's a huge commitment, first of all, obviously, because as you said, it takes time to make a country that's not that good in handball to reach a point where you actually have the platform to present yourself in a way that people will say, yes, I want to be a handball player after that. So I think that would be wonderful. I think it's a good idea in many ways. And has any country reached out to you at all yet?
Sorry?
Has any country, reached out to you at all yet for something like this?
I didn't think about it for the moment, but I saw the work who did Jordi Rivera with Brazil.
Yeah.
When he started to work with this country, and during lots of years, he was working in Brazil to know, to see some players, and to work with them to reach good results in Rio. And when you see the level of the team of Brazil in Rio, it's just incredible. Yeah. Because I knew that Brazil had some guys who were able to play in Europe, in Spain or in France or in Germany. Yeah. But not so many guys. Yeah. And when I saw in Rio the team of Brazil playing in the courts, I was thinking, wow, it's incredible, because he took some guys and he made a team, and he did that these guys were able to dream about good results in their country, in their Olympic Games, in their events. And for me, it was fantastic. More than, for example, Denmark, who went to win the gold medal. Yeah. But they are able to win the gold medal, winning France, winning Spain. But we didn't know that Brazil were able to play so good and to win against big countries of handball. Yeah. And that's a big achievement.
Yeah, I think that that's a great project, long term. More importantly, is that it does fit with the Olympic values of really instilling that passion of people dreaming, doing the best they can, and then of course you have your home soil.
It's very important to dream.
Yeah, it is very important to dream. Now, because I know I'm taking a lot of your time, but I'm going to ask you some quick trivial questions, and one of them is, who was your handball idol growing up?
When I was young, my idol was Magnus Wieslander.
Okay.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think for me, he was representing the perfect player because he were not so strong, but he was tall. He was smart. He was able to play in many positions and to help the team in defense and in attack. And he was winning titles with Sweden.
Yeah.
So obviously, I had some idols, French idols, like Jackson, like Frederic Vaux. But for me, the best player was Magnus.
But I actually had a chance, a privilege to play against him one time when we
Yeah.
did the Big Apple tournament, and he was a part of it. And he was playing pivot, obviously, and I was next to him defending him. And he had Vranjes as a middle back. I think Pascal Hens was a left back, or Nagy, or somebody was there. And I remember, like, I'm watching what Vranjes is going to do. And then all of a sudden, Visander grabs my shirt, but so nicely and so strong because he doesn't let me move to one side. While I'm trying to look what he's doing and I'm moving his hand, he just makes a screen. Vranjes comes back, gives him a ball. He just distracted me in 1 second. I was like, okay, now I know why you are the greatest player of all time. And he just did it like with a smile without doing much. So I love what he used to do. It's amazing. The toughest opponent you have ever played as a team and as an individual player?
As a national team, Croatia, for sure. But when I was young, it was incredible to play against Russia or against Sweden. As club, when I was playing in Barcelona, it was very difficult to play against Portland, San Antonio, or Ciudad Real. But when I was in another club, for me the reference was Barcelona, the Barca, you know. So for me, the big opponent was always Barcelona, but I was very lucky and I had chance to play 6 seasons in Barca.
So my next question was going to be which one was your favorite team you played for? I'm assuming Barcelona.
Yeah, it's Barca because, you know, when I was young, I went for the holidays in Spain, just near Barcelona, and I saw all the children with the shirts of Barca, and I was thinking, it's incredible, like the people want to wear this shirt and like or loves this club. And when I was 15 years old, yes, Barca started to win lots of titles with Valero Rivera, with Masip, with Urdangarin, with Barufet, with a big team, Vujovic, partner. And when I started to play with Bordeaux in '95, they won 5 Champions League. It was incredible. And they lost the 6th time against Portland in 2001, but they played 6 finals of Champions League and they won 5. And for me, it was the big club, the big team, and I couldn't think that one day I could wear this shirt and play for this club. It was a big dream, but a dream, like you say, it's impossible. You know, you had dream that you think, maybe if I work good, I will be able to reach that. But for me, Barca and the French national team were big dreams, unable to reach, you know. And at the end, when I look my career, I I don't feel, how it's possible to have played so many years in this club and with this national team, and to have won all these titles.
Yeah. Well, I have to say Barcelona was always smart picking. They have good human resources capacity. They pick the right people to fit the system. And I think that's the beauty of management and belief
Yeah,
in the system. And then you just look at the people that fit that culture and the system, and there's no doubt they will be successful.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Now I'm going to have my last question, and this is because I read this somewhere. I think it was CNN. There was a report about you that you said that if you were not a handball player, you would have wanted to be a firefighter. Is that true?
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true because when I was young,
Hmm.
handball was not professional, and I couldn't be professional handball player, and I just thought about which kind of work could make me proud of what I'm doing, and I always wanted to help the people,
Yeah.
and so for me, I think at this moment I thought that it was the best job for me.
Yeah.
But when I came to 8 years old, we start to be professional, like handball players, and so uh, I did my passion, my job.
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna maybe try to now because you're retired. You're not a handball player anymore. What if I am able to make you a firefighter for a day or two in New York City? Would you consider coming here being a firefighter for a day or two?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So, if I can find the opportunity for you to become a firefighter for a day or two in New York City, would you come and
Yeah.
try it out?
Wow. Uh, yes, yes, yes. I think
Perfect.
maybe I would stay more days,
But
but but it would be very interesting because I did that in Aix-en-Provence.
yeah,
I went one day,
okay.
and it was a fantastic feeling to be with them,
Yeah,
to wait about the moment
yeah,
you have to leave, and you have to go fast,
yeah,
because maybe for 1 minute you can lose
yeah,
someone, or you can save someone,
yeah, yeah.
and it was a big pressure,
Mm.
and I liked it. So if it's possible to do that in New
It,
York,
it is possible. I have some good connections with FDNY, which I think would be
so now I
fantastic.
have to organize uh, one one travel in New York.
Yeah, a long trip. We have to make a long trip, and then
Yeah,
from the long trip, you do some handball with us, and then you do a firefighter for a day or two. Would be wonderful.
perfect,
Would be fun.
perfect.
Great.
It will be wonderful.
Yeah, it's. I think it would be so much fun. I think the fact that living in firehouses is very much like a handball culture, like the
Yeah,
trust, that ability
yeah,
to, like, you're all together, you move the ball, you keep the tempo, the chemistry, and then when you need to react, you go quick. And then
yeah.
it's I love the fact that that combination will work really well for this.
It's very good for the team spirit.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. Okay, perfect. Well, that was my thing, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to make it happen, and we're going to plan the date, hopefully next year, when everything clears up with all this mess.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful and
But
I'm
thank you for
thankful
the invitation.
that no, it's going to happen. And I'm grateful you joined Straight Handball Talk. You shared the stories, the personal stories. I'm really happy, and I'm really happy that from one connection to saying hi to each other, for your curiosity to meet a person that knows about handball in New York, to already 6 years of relationship. So I'm really happy that you took your time, Jérôme, and I will always be grateful for any time you join anything we do about handball in US. So thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. And it was a very interesting for me to speak with you now, to speak about handball, all these moments of my life, of my careers. And I hope that some people who will see the interview want to play handball and discover this perfect sport.
Thank you, Jérôme. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bini.
Enjoy Corsica.
Bye bye.